Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuffs channel. In this video we're going to review round 1 of the 2024-25 SuperCoach BBL season, and obviously preview round 2 at the same time, given that it's a 24-hour turnaround between the two events. So in terms of round 1, a pretty good start, 1,046, so I think if anyone got 4 digits they're probably cheering. Top 16%, so I would like to be a little bit higher, but it is a pretty volatile game in this format. 4 league wins out of 4, that's not what I saw last night, but maybe I read it wrong, but I will absolutely take that. And as you can see, overall rank of 8,200, so 50,000 players, top 16% obviously. But we'll have a look at the team. So there was a couple of last-minute changes, or definitely one last-minute change from the team I posted in the preview video. So Joey Clark, 52 at the bat, probably wasn't quite what we were after, but you know, it is what it is, and he's probably one we move on now. I think Duckett's due back. I know Bethel played last night for the Renegades, so he's definitely one on the chopping block this week. Doran we just brought in as a placeholder. That's fine. We're not expecting him to play. Matt Short was a bit disappointing, 41, but obviously on the double this week was the reason why we got him in. He didn't lose that much value, so if you are looking to trade him in, you do have to still find 288,000, which isn't the easiest. Overton, 99 for one game was quite good. Seifert was quite good with the bat, 177, absolutely carved up. I just had a little freak out there, but it's okay. Curran, I ended up captaining. He scored 104, so I did a last-minute sort of flip. I did have Stoinis as captain for a lot of it. Would have got me a few extra points with his 133. Darcy Short ended up not playing, and I was a bit late to the team list on that day, so consequently he's stuck in the team. I think the strike is even. That's hard to say so early in the morning. They do play first, so we can have a bit of a look to see if he can force his way into the team. I don't recall any injuries. I also don't recall the result. That's how well I'm going. They lost to the Thunder, so may look to make changes, but I guess if not, he might be another one we need to shuffle around. Sammy Constas, though, did the job, quick fire 50, 101 on SuperCoach debut. You'd love to see it. Hassan Khan only played the one game, so it didn't quite work out the way we would hope. Zamps went for a bit of tap in the first game and then just didn't really have to do much in the second game, given the paceman dominating the Hurricanes. Peter Siddle, again, one that didn't quite work out the way we'd hoped. Hamish McKenzie looked okay, but went for a bit of tap, so 42. And then you'll see Saltzman was the last sort of player. So Richardson went off in the first game and got 103. And basically, I wanted to take advantage of that. So I did shuffle Fergus O'Neill down to my flex. So this is one way that the flex can work for Big Bash, but also, we're talking NRL, AFL SuperCoach now that the team pickers are open. So it can make flexing players around a bit easier as well, bringing in the emergencies. So I brought in Saltzman, who wasn't named in the Thunder squad, replaced Owen, which wasn't the worst in the end because I think Owen did flop with the bat, although he was opening, which is what I'd predicted. So took the 103, which was really helpful. And Sean Abbott with 61 was quite good too, but with Hazelwood out of the test team, he might sort of drop off into the Australian squad. So just one to monitor there. And as I said, Fergus O'Neill, he was the one I thought I had missed out on because he wasn't here, but I forgot I put him in the flex. So 125 for Fergus. Big bowling effort in the second game in particular got him to that point. So that's the team. Let's have a look at the leagues. It's already gone to week 2. That's how keen they are. So I don't know if there was some adjustments or not. I thought Felix Force had me, but I might have just read it wrong. But in the first league, so defeated LA Knights, who scored a 929. So I think the difference maker was Tommy Seifert. He had Stoinis and Short as well. Had Philippi, 25, but that can't happen with the batsman. Fraser McGurk was quite good, 51 across 2 games. I guess missed out in the first game, but that's what we're going to get from him. That's why a lot of people have him as the flex. If he flops, well, that doesn't matter. Bo Webster was 66. Sort of because he bats quite low. It's and doesn't really bowl the 4 overs all that often. I think he's a bit of an overhyped player, but I can understand why people want to get on. But across the league, I think the top score is Jason's Raiders with a 1109. So he had Richardson, Curran, Tommy Rogers with a 117. So he was, he would have been a better pick over a Siddle, even a Zampa. I guess on paper you wouldn't pick Rogers over Zampa, but had the double and did well with the ball in both games. Probably has done well over the years. So one I definitely sort of had in line, but I just had O'Neill. Didn't want to overload on Renegades. But a lot of people have. You can see he also had O'Neill, Seifert, Stoinis, Overton. So you can sort of see a lot of people having Constas as well on the Pine. So, a lot of teams in a very good position. So a little bit short. Cooper's team at 1090 would be a bit stiff to miss out there. Go back. So there's a few leagues to get through. Not used to this. So in the second league, beat Felix Force by 28. So close one there. So Captain Short was probably the issue there. So obviously just off the one game. Don't know if that was the best strategy, but we played the game we want to play it. But as you can see, a big score here. Wacko Jacko with a 1285. So he had Cooper Connolly as an emergency, so great use of the emergency. Tom Seifert as an emergency as well, so he's gone the full looping action. So who do you have? Doran and can't work out what. Oh yeah, so he had Connolly as a bowler, so he actually looped Zampa out, which is interesting. Bold move, but it paid off. Jack Edwards in the flex, so he got elevated to 3 with Dan Hughes going down in the field with an injury. So probably one to keep an eye on this round, but definitely a target in round 3 if he does get elevated to 3 permanently. They do have Curtis Patterson, who could just be a like-for-like replacement, and you'd imagine that's the way they would go. But if Edwards can get a top 3 spot, he bowls, early doors, 4 overs. He's the captain of the team now, I'm pretty sure too, so he can do what he wants. So he'll be a really great option for round 3. Other than that, I think we've talked about all these people. Will Sutherland was massive, 217. So if I was sure he was bowling, he probably would have been worth a gamble, but I was just a bit unsure, and so I left it and obviously missed out on 200 points. So that's a bit flat, but these are the risks we take. Cool. Third league, rather. So another close one, 21 points over Art Vanderlei, 73. Nice little Seinfeld reference there. So he captained O'Neill, which is a pretty ballsy move, but paid off nicely. Outscored my captain. Sam Harper was 72. So again, if we knew Harper was playing from the get-go, I think I was a little bit late to the first game as well in terms of last-minute tweaks to my team. He could have come in for, even Clark, I guess. But be interesting to see with Duckett coming in, because Duckett doesn't. He can keep wickets, but he doesn't for England. So it'd be interesting to see if Harper stays in the side as the wicketkeeper / number 3. Maxwell does have to come back in too, though. So you imagine Maxwell would probably slot in there. Harper drops out. So it was a good one with Maxwell missing both games. Josh Brown was 70, was all right too. So pretty solid contributions there. I can't really work out how. Maybe just Tommy Seifert's 177 was big enough to to trump because like I've got a 30 and a 42 there. That's why I can't work out how I've got 4 game wins. Just obviously the maths out, but yeah, don't know. I'll take it. Yeah, everyone else we've sort of talked about. So another monster score. So kick-ass. Jim's team with a 1301. And I'm pretty sure this is the highest in all the SuperCoach Nuff leagues, so well done to you, Jim. But as you can see, you had Richardson as an emergency, nice. Captain O'Neill, nice. Sutherland, Seifert, Rogers, all the guns from the Renegades. Had Stoinis and Curran as well. So it's got Constas on the bench. Baisley was 67. That's quite good. I did see he played. So he could be a target this week, I suppose. I mustn't have caught all that game because I don't actually remember seeing him bowl, but he must have and did all right. Either that or he batted well. I don't really remember, if I'm being honest. But yeah, definitely one on the watch list for this week. And the final league. So 2-point win. Maybe this was the one I thought I didn't have and I've snuck in somehow. But 2-point win over Stars of Terror, Lockie's team, and we're very similar. We both have Stoinis. We both had Curran as captain. So it's literally Richardson versus Constas, which is massive. Using Constas in the flex is a pretty clever move too. So other than that, we're all the same. He had Richardson on the bench too, so definitely potential. We've got a very similar team, just looking at that. Siddle. He had Owen, so I think essentially we had the same team going into the round. Just looking at that, he's just copied. I like that. It's one way to get a draw in round one. Just get the same team as the person who's publishing it on YouTube. But 1261 from Sharp. So great to see a lot of the fellow Nuffs in, they're in all the other comps in here. Sharp's definitely one of them, so well done to you, mate. Had Will Sutherland as a difference maker. Jeez, there's only one unique player, and he goes off for 200. You got to love that. But had Connolly, Curran, Stoinis, Seifert, O'Neill, Fraser McGurk. Cool. Fantastic. All right, so I'll just have a quick look at the top scorers and break-evens. I think we hit a lot of them. Nathan Ellis with a 115 last night. I guess did a lot with the bat, which is pretty rare. But you take that if you had him in your team. 13% do. Chris Green with a 106. Nice start for Greeny. We've seen all these guys. Moses Henriques, I did see someone had Henriques in the team, flipping through the teams. But, he's always solid with the bat. Probably doesn't bowl as much as he could. But the Sixers are a pretty strong team. Jimmy Pearson batting at the top of the order for the Heat looked really good. Week 3, he could definitely be one to target. Lockie Ferguson, good start with the ball, 95. Xavier Bartlett, we know what he's about. Berendorf's made a little bit of cash. Sams was batting quite low, but then just went bang at the end. So still scoring points, somewhat relevant. Dorshus went all right with the ball. Yeah, and I guess we're getting a bit deep after that. So I guess we'll look at break-evens to find the cheapies and the value. So Constas is obviously number 1. Will Sutherland, I guess if you want to get on, this is the week, negative 50 break-even. They do have a blank in week 3, so you do have to be able to cover that if you do get him in, unless you're willing to use a lot of trades around the big chief. Stoin, negative 28, so I guess doing what we expected he would do. So I guess looking at these guys, they're all the guys that just scored well this week. Davies, negative 4, so I guess looks like he's got a bit of a role there at the Sixers. So if you're looking for a cheap option, particularly with the double next week, could be one to look at. Jack Wood, I think he was only filling in for Munro, so probably not the biggest concern. Baisley's got a good break-even. Rogers, if you like him, but copy and paste what I just said about Will Sutherland. Max Bryant, he looked really solid. Like, he's got that set role in the middle order. He's not the go out there and bash it from ball one like he used to be. So, sort of evolving as a player could be a nice look for round 3. But after that, all the cheapies, and we don't need to worry too much after that. So, in terms of our trades for round 2, I've got to look at the fixture lists. So I should be able to get in after Monday's game and do a round 3 video. I was just wondering whether we have to talk ahead a couple of rounds, but I should be good. Heading off Christmas Eve, but I'll get the video out before I go. So, doubles this week. Oh, hang on. Yeah. No, it's right there. So you got the Adelaide and Perth on the double this week. Just keeping in mind with round 3, the Stars are on the double again. The Renegades are the ones that don't play again. So, but in saying that, I think a couple of our moves are forced with Hassan Khan and Joe Clark both missing. And not sure what's happening. I think they're keeping the test squad together. So in terms of wicket keepers, I can't filter. Don't know. I was going to say I don't know if Josh Inglis is playing. So we might have a look at the Matt Hurst. You know, he's batting I think at 4. So basically, the Scorchers are going with their tried and tested plan of bring in a bunch of imported batsmen, throw them at the top of the order, and we'll go from there. And I guess speaking of Scorchers in the top order, we probably have to look at getting in Cooper Connolly. You know, batting at 3, bowls that left arm wrist spin. You know, really useful asset in that sense. So we'll lock in those 2 trades, see how we're going. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 on the double this week. We do have boosts as well, which is nice. I've burnt through my boosts in the NBL, so I'm not used to it, but we could potentially take advantage of this. So see if it's going to make some money. Zampa's not expensive, so we could probably hold on to him. So I'll just swap them around. So I think maybe Siddle hasn't really worked out. I'd rather get someone else in. And I guess at his price, probably someone like a Baisley makes sense to bring in. So that's another one for this week. So we'll complete that. So we've got Hurst on the double. We've got Short Overton on the double. See if it's going to make some money. So we'll just hang on to him for a week. Yeah, -4. We'll take his bit of cash. We might be able to use that next week. What's happened there? It's just had a little meltdown. But that's cool. Karen and Stoinis have the double in week 3, so we're going to hold. Constance is making money. So Short might be worth a boost if he's not playing. So we'll look at some options there. Richardson, Connolly on the double, Basie on the double. Zampa is probably somewhat expendable, but we'll back him in over the long term. Hamish McKenzie's got the double next week. Fergus O'Neill is going to make some money. Sean Abbott, again, depends on the test setup and that. If he's sort of out, we can probably use that trade too. So it could be Short or Abbott. I think just for... Well, actually, we can have a look at both. Maybe I've got to activate the boost first. Hang on. It's just had a meltdown. I'll just refresh. There we go. So we'll activate the boost and we'll have a look. So if we're trading for Short, we're just going to filter out players we can afford. So we've already got the top 3 scorers, which is nice. Jake Weatherall, I guess that's like for like with Darcy Short, although we had Short in there because he can bowl a bit too. potentially. Ashton Turner's a cheap option on the double. Definitely like a flex option. Hobson probably is after Turner, so you're relying on them not going so well. Jennings obviously can't afford Finn Allen, which is a bit disappointing, but maybe Jennings would go right. So, I mean, realistically, there's probably no one on the. Oh, maybe like a Fabian Allen can do a bit of both. Could be worth a look. So, I guess there's not as many options if we trade short. If we trade Abbott, might be a few more. Ellison Green, Tommy Rogers, we could try and just bank some cash. Because what was his break even? 12. No, I'm thinking of Sutherland. Never mind. Could forward plan with a bit of Jack Edwards, get him in a bit cheaper because his break even's very gettable. And I guess that's a fairly sideways, Abbott to Edwards. So that probably makes sense. Or I think the third option, which probably is the best option, is just to save the boost. I think we're doing all right. Considering looking at some of the teams, there was a lot of Melbourne players in there. So we're not that far behind in that sense. So I think we just got, well, if Short's playing, he becomes. So just have to work out the shuffle here. I think Stoinis can come down here, plug him in. That way we can go with Constas as the emergency. Might even, if Abbott's playing, do that. Ferguson Nels a flex. I mean, yeah. Do we want Constas or O'Neill? So the Sixers. So it's the Sydney Smash at the Thunder Stadium. I guess that's the GWS Stadium or whatever it is. Sydney Showground, something. Whereas the Renegades are at Marvel against Perth. So, Well, I guess, obviously, if Short's out, it's going to be Constas in anyway. So maybe we just run with this and Constas will come in if Short's missing. And I guess, if Short plays, say, the second, doesn't play the first game, plays the second game and flops, well, that's the whole point of the flex. His score won't even count. So, I think that's the setup. Captain, vice captain, we probably need to work out. I mean, you've probably got a captain Short if you've got him in the team. Well, actually, because he plays first, you could probably vice captain him. We've got Salzman who can come in and do a bit. So then it's just a question of which Perth Scorcher do we captain. It's probably going to be either Richardson or Connolly. And I'm going to go with Connolly, just given what he can do with the bat. Just looking at this team, I'm going to go more batting order as well. This is not reflective of any change. Just Curran and Overton are more bowlers. Connolly, Stoinis more in the top order. Looks a bit nicer that way. But just a purely cosmetic change there. So, but that's the team, I guess, going into round 2 today. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the BBL content. Subscribe for all the fantasy content. I've definitely got a few new subscribers. I think we're up over 440 now. With the, obviously, NRL team picker. I did have a go at the AFL one too. It was pretty trash. But I am doing some research now, seeing the experts are actually getting their teams out and making some tweaks based on that. But subscribe if you do enjoy all the content. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.